Alrighty, welcome back to Let's Play Xenogears, where we are off on to finally the second disc of the game. We ended on a cliffhanger on Wednesday. It actually is kind of funny. It kind of worked out. We're playing Xenogears twice this week to make up for next week because I'm going to be on vacation. And we end on this crazy cliffhanger, so we didn't have to wait a whole week to see what would happen after this cliffhanger. We only had to wait one day. So, here we go. Let's start Disc 2 Xenogears. Let's see what's going to happen. Dreaming. I was dreaming. Perhaps it may have been but a long-forgotten memory. A dream, a memory. Things remembered when one is asleep, things forgotten when one is awake, where the deepest layers of memories become the outmost layers of one's dreams. Which are reality, which are illusions, one cannot tell until one awakes, or perhaps they are, at the same time, both truth and fiction. A vast nebulous with no boundaries, an emptiness equivalent to my own existence. I dreamt such a dream, a long, never-ending dream. It's starting to sound like Final Fantasy X. Lacan, what is wrong? Lacan? In that dream, I was called Lacan. I was an artist. I had become recognized as a talented artist and now was painting the portrait of the Nissan mother, Sophia. Huh. No, it is nothing. Let us finish for today. You look rather tired. Are you alright? I am fine, thank you, but now that you mention it. Shall we stop for the day? You must be the one who is tired, Mother Sophia. Enough of that now. When it is just the two of us, would you stop calling me that? Just call me Ellie, as you used to do in the old days. You don't have to be so stiff and formal. Oh, alright. Very well. No, I mean, yes. Let's do that, Ellie. What? Ellie. It was a time when she went by such a name. A time when we had met up with one another. A time when nothing mattered between us. It was better that way, just two people together. It was better to have left it that way. How in the world would her name be Ellie in the past? I think I might go back home, only for a week or so. Oh, really? What is the matter? I ran out of paint, so I need to go make some more. You're going all that way just to do that? I gotta finish the picture. If I don't go there, I won't be able to get the right pigments. Oh. Then how about I have one of my followers, the Cahal, take you in one of our gears? You'll arrive quicker, and you'll be much more safe. I lied. I wasn't out of paint. I just feared I would finish the portrait. I wanted to keep on painting forever. So I wanted to buy time. She'd probably despise me for that. No, she'd probably just give me her usual smile. She was that kind of woman. Dreams. A life of a man named Lacan, and the lives of countless other men, all but dreams. Now that I am awake, those countless numbers of long, heart-rending dreams are almost impossible to remember at all. In those dreams, I loved one woman, no matter the day, no matter the era, that did not change, nor did her name. That dream changed me. That dream was the catalyst for me to resolve what my purpose was. I think I know now what I have to do. That long, long memory of a dream. Perhaps it was the memory of my soul. Take a drink every time he says the word dream. A dream. I was dreaming of a dream. Never mind, don't take a drink. Or perhaps it was a memory from a distant past. A dream, a memory. Those words I was unable to convey, that day, that time. Those thoughts I was unable to carry out. Words and thoughts, the connection between the two. Without words, thoughts cannot be conveyed. Without thoughts, there are no words. They are both as vital as each other. They can never be divided, like the wings of angels, like a man and a woman. An unchangeable destiny, feelings one wishes one could change, meeting with the person who would change me and watching myself change. I dreamt such a dream, a long, never-ending dream. Lacan. Lacan, what is wrong? Lacan? In that dream, I was called Sophia, Mother Sophia, a symbolic name crowned upon the person who would be the people's hope. A name I was destined to have whether I wanted it or not. Huh? No, it is nothing. Let us finish for today. You look rather tired. Are you alright? I am fine, thank you, but now that you mention it... Shall we stop for the day? You must be the one who is tired, Mother Sophia. Enough of that now. When it is just the two of us, would you stop calling me that? Just call me Ellie. As you used to in the old days. And you don't have to be so stiff and formal. Oh, alright. Very well. No, I mean... Yeah, let's do that, Ellie. Elheim. I've always liked that name, because when I first met him, that is what he called me. That is my true name. I think I might go back home only for a week or so. Oh really? What is the matter? I ran out of paint, so I need to go make some more. You're going all that way just to do that? If I don't go there, I won't be able to get the right pigments. How about I have one of my followers to call, I'll take you in one of our gears. You'll arrive quicker and you'll be much more safe. I wonder when it started. That he started refusing me, the walls between us, our positions, our circumstances. He refused to recognize these. No, maybe it was me. Therefore, I didn't want them. I wanted the two of us to be ourselves. That is what I wished for. So I had him paint me, the way I really am. Dreams. A life of a woman named Sophia, and the lives of countless other women. All but dreams. Now that I am awake, those countless numbers of long, heart-rending dreams are almost impossible to remember at all. In those dreams, I loved one man, no matter the day, no matter the era. That did not change. Only his name. That dream changed me. That dream was the catalyst for me to resolve what my purpose was. I think I know now what I have to do. That long, long memory of a dream. That perhaps was the memory of my soul. Suddenly naked Faye. He's finally awake. Here you go. I'm healed. You've been sleeping in this nanoreactor for 3 weeks. Nanoreactor? Who are you? Me? I forgot my name. Some people call me Tora. You seem to have recovered completely. Those were terrible wounds, but maybe your youth and strength helped. But your friend's wounds are more serious and may take a while longer. My friend? Ellie. Ellie. Hey, quit staring at the naked girl and come over here. I had a nickel for every time I got that. Ellie? Let her out. That's true. She stared at me while I was taking a shower. This is revenge. Faye! Doc! I heard from Tora and hurried right over here. Wow, how quick did that happen? He just walked outside. I mean, I guess maybe he's been here the whole time, but... he literally just walked through the door. He's like, oh, I heard. Boy, was that lucky. You were fortunate to have come down near Tora's research facility. This is no research facility. It is a man's hideaway. This guy looks like a Dragon Ball Z character. Like with the robe and his face. Satan told me about you. I was shocked to see a couple lying down with blood all over them. Yeah, that would be kind of shocking. A couple? At any rate, you had a narrow escape. Faye, make sure you thank Tora. Wait, who, you're my dad? Tora, thank you very much for helping Ellie. Both Ellie and I were hurt so badly. What is that machine? It's called a nanoreactor. It is a device that can rebuild substances at the molecular level. Not only can it just heal humans, but theoretically it should also be able to create many substances. Is that the same thing as that guy in Solaris? I mean, is that the same thing as Krelian is studying? Yes, that's right. I was the one who taught nanotechnology to him. You did? You shouldn't waste time talking about such an unimportant subject. Looks like your treatment is done. You just said it was going to take a while. Oh, you don't need to come. Just wait here. He knows what I'm trying to do. Faye's like, darn it. Faye. Ellie. Faye, how's it going, Crimson? Thanks for being here. Now, why don't you two go get some fresh air outside? It ought to ease the shock of the change. I knew it was you. Faye? When you came in the room just then, I was afraid you may have forgotten about me and everything else. What do you mean? I mean, because, Ellie, you seemed a little different than before. Has my face changed? No, that's not it. It's more like... I mean, your atmosphere or impression is different. Just a little. But I felt something familiar. I felt the same way when I met you for the first time. Some peculiar feeling like we've met before somewhere. Faye. Yes? I don't remember much what happened after we were shot down. It's better that way. But I heard someone calling my name. I felt I was covered with something very warm. I remember that clearly. Thank you, Faye. Ellie. Hey, it's almost time for you to come back. There's something important we need to talk to you about. Alright, we're coming. Well, Ellie, shall we go see what's up? Sure. You blew it. Is this like... This looks like the forest from the beginning of the game, but I don't think it is. And forest just looks like forest. What What if we just leave? Faye, where are you going? We're leaving. That was the plan from the beginning. Our plan was to leave. We could just go. Have you ever told a woman that her atmosphere is off? Ooh, that looks good. How do you feel now? That's a good point. If Solaris is destroyed, how can we save? I mean, I don't know all the nuances of it, but it seemed like the reason we could save was because of the whole network in Solaris, so... The fresh forest air should have refreshed you somewhat, hey? Anyway, it's about the removal of the seal. I found out it can be released by using the nanotechnology that regenerated you two. The nanoassemblers are enclosed in this pod. If only we could scatter them all over the world. There's an ancient military installation nearby. We might be able to use the mass driver located in there to launch this pod into the upper atmosphere. Once the nanoassemblers are released up there, the convection currents would spread them all over the world. I wish I could go do it, but I am getting much too old for that type of thing. Then again, it's for your future. An old man should not butt in. You young ones must do it for yourselves. This seems very like... Does this feel like it's kind of out of nowhere? Like, Solaris has been controlling the planet for how many years now? And, like, no one could do anything about the limiters and, like, everything. And then... we crash land. We just happen to crash land in this guy's forest lab, and he just so happens to have the answer to like all of our problems. Like he has a machine that can just fix anyone and can also get rid of the heal the planet. I mean, he said before that he was the one that taught Krellian about nanotechnology. So it's not like completely out of nowhere. Like I think the idea is that he was the main brain behind it all and then left. So like that makes sense, but it still seems a bit like odd or just kind of like out of left field that it's like, oh yeah, our answer has been sitting in the forest this whole time. Here. And of course, I'm not asking you to do it for free. Try this wristband on. What is that? If you fail to do it, it'll explode. This is an emotion control device in which nanotechnology is applied. From this machine shaped as a wristband, nanomachines are infused through your epidermis into your brain. There they refine the SSRI intracerebral substances, such as serotonin, that control emotions. This sounds awful, get it off me. Well, I suppose it's rather difficult for you to understand. But in short, it means that the manifestation of your second personality, id, can be suppressed. How does he know about this? I mean, I guess it's been 3 weeks. Maybe he's been talking to Doc, but like... we have the answer to that too? Id. Faye. Well, it's all theoretical though. Oh, and I did one more thing as well. I installed the same control device in your gear. You mean it can release id at will? Yes. I called it System id. But of course it should not be overused. Use it only as a last resort. Ellie, Doc, Faye, there was nothing you could do. It will never happen again with Tora's technology, though. He is one of the 3 Shabbat sages. Whether you believe it or not, it's up to you. Oh? It sounds like we have a guest. Yeah, I mean, they've been kind of talking about the Shavat sages this whole time, so, like, I guess this isn't really that out of left field. But it is kind of funny that, like, all these questions get raised, and then we crash land in the forest, and suddenly we just have, like, all the answers, you know? Faye, we got problems. Of course we do. We always have problems. Today, a peace settlement between Ave and Kislev is being held at Shavat. But Solaris' mobile weapons are approaching Shavat as we speak. Please help us. That has nothing to do with this young man. Tora. You're getting on my nerves for being so selfish. Satan told me about you. You showed up after finding out that it is now controllable. Aren't you ashamed? You haven't changed since then. You only care about yourselves. I'll get him the business. Faye, you don't need to listen to those guys who once tried to kill you. But... please go. I'll go to the mass driver. Ellie? No matter what happened before, Shavat needs your help now. Although you may be saving some selfish people, there is still the world and its countries with many more innocent people. Please, don't forget that. Bart and his people are fighting to protect those same lives, aren't they? So please go help them. Are you sure? What about you? Don't worry about me. I'll manage somehow. But all by yourself? I will accompany Ellie. You do not need to worry. Now I'm more worried. I have brought along my own Omni gear. Your own Omni gear? Oh yeah, by the way, I got an Omni gear. Dude, I can't get over how, like, Satan is so great. Every time we talk to him, he's like, oh yeah, by the way, I have a sword. Oh, by the way, I have an Omni gear. Oh, by the way, I'm a genius. Oh, by the way... It's like every step of the game, he just unlocks more. So you just, by the way, I got this. By the way, I got this. Yeah, it's my Omni gear, Fenrir. And then he talks about it as if, like, we should have known. You know what I mean? Like, he talks about it like, oh yeah, I got one of those. Oh yeah. It's the same one I brought from Solaris. I left it with Gaspar in case of emergencies. Doc, haven't we had like 20 emergencies since the beginning of the game? What makes this emergency any different? Alright, please take care of her for me. Ellie, be careful. I will. We are truly grateful for your kindness, Faye. Huh, suit yourselves. So, I wanted to say, when the dude originally said, help us, Faye, and then Faye was like, I don't remember exactly what he said. He said, like, ... or something. It switched to Satan, and he said ... And then it switched to Ellie, and Ellie started talking. And I'm wondering if it did that specifically because, like, Satan is still watching us to decide, like, if he wants to be on Faye's side. I mean, I think he's, like, already made his decision a while ago, but it feels like he's still watching Faye to, like, see what he does before he reacts, you know? Like, instead of Satan saying, like, yes, you should go help, I'll watch Ellie, he waited until Faye made the decision and then said, okay, I'll watch Ellie. So he's still, like, testing us. He's still, like, testing Faye to see what decisions he makes before he, like, jumps in and helps. Ignis, right? Yes, the goal of the enemy is to destroy the cities in Ignis. They have already destroyed half of Bledavik and will probably reach Nissan in about 4 hours. Shavat will try to drive them back with all the power it has. 4 hours? That's cutting it close. No need to worry, Balthazar and I fixed your gear with some nanomachine. Yeah, just... Everything was fixed with nanomachines. It's much more powerful than it ever was before. Why, you should get there in half the time. You know the whole Metal Gear Solid meme with, like, oh, nanomachines. Like, that's literally this part of the game. Just like, oh, yeah, nanomachines, of course, yeah. What happened? Nanomachines? Oh, okay. Why is this fixed? Nanomachines? Oh, okay. We didn't die because of what? Oh, nanomachines. Okay. What? Is old man Ball here? Emeralda is here as well. Is Weltall looking more chunky than normal? Or is that just the angle? I think it's just the angle, but he looks like chunkier. He put on like 50 pounds. And by 50 pounds, I mean like 50 tons. This is incredible! We meet again. The host for the Spirit of the Slayer of God. I didn't think I would ever work on it again. But why are you both helping me? There are some things you just can't explain with the word fate. You're just going to have to see it with your own eyes. Faye, going? Yeah, I'd better hurry. Hey, where are you going? Faye, please hurry. Alright. He's got to be bigger. Look at those thighs. His thighs are massive. Those are some thunder thighs. Nanomachines, brother. Yeah, think of the gifted sub, by the way. And hi to everyone that's coming in. I get like no time to talk to chat because this game is literally just cutscenes now. Like the cutscenes never end. We've yet to start. We've yet to. Well, okay, I did control it for like 3 seconds. But are you sure you want to go through with this? You wanted to live quietly away from the battlefield, did you not? I noticed myself running away from reality. At first, I thought my situation was similar to his. I thought Faye would understand my feelings. I didn't know if my love for him was real. I might have been desperate after losing my mother and father. Ellie. Despite all that, I may still love him. That's why I want to see what Faye can do and what I can do. I want us to be apart and think about ourselves again. I want to see how I really feel. What is she yapping about? You have changed a lot, Ellie. What happened to you in the past 3 weeks? I was in a tube. Nanomachines? Really? I don't think I've changed. Yes, you have. I should say you have matured. Like a mother. Excuse me, I'm only 18 years old. I'm nowhere near the age of being your mother. Sorry, you gave me that impression, that is all. Anyway, Satan, I'm going now. Alright, I will follow you as soon as I finish off here. I go too. What? I go. Emeralda, I can't take anyone else along with me for something like this. I'll be fine on my own. If Ellie go, I go too. Emeralda, have to go with you. Emeralda? No! Emeralda, go too. Why not let her go? I'm sure Solaris has a hunch about the limiter. They may interfere, so you may feel uneasy going it alone. I think Emeralda is cut out for this job. Besides, she is going to want to go no matter what. Take care of her until I can join you, please? Okay, you win. Let's help each other, alright? I can do it alone. You just watch. Why does it look like he's typing on a book? I thought so. So, you are the one who brought Faye and his girl to me. I realized it the minute I saw the two of them. Why, how could I help but notice? They looked the spitting image of you and her. Yes, just as you yourselves looked way back then. Right, Lacan? Dun dun dun. What do you mean he's still alive? Yes. Ridiculous. Didn't Ramses shoot him down? She was also on the gear that Ramses shot down. I won't have her die. But there is already a mother. Although she may be the anti-type, as long as the current mother exists. As far as I see it, that is not complete. Quite picky, aren't you? Didn't you say you threw away all human emotions? I don't care what you think. Anyway, as far as he is concerned, I will put Ramses onto him. Any objections? Where is he presently? Etranank is destroyed, but part of the memory cube is still active. We should still be able to locate individuals. Wait a moment. He has left the crash site and is heading towards Ignis. I see, so he has left the area. That means it is only a matter of time before the seal is broken. Did you say something? It's nothing. Just sit there and wait for the good news. This dude really whispered to himself, and then they were like, did you say something? Like, you can just think that in his brain. What about retrieving the girl? The key is already beginning to resonate. The time of the resurrection is near. We can get the girl anytime. It doesn't have to be now. Let's take our time. On my way to Ignis, I re-encountered him, Karan Ramses. Ramses once again stood in my way in his Omni-Gear vendetta. It was an unavoidable battle. I released the new function that was added to my Mark II gear, System ID. Attack level infinite. I wonder if these are unlocked only with ID, or I just have those. Probably just have those from the combos I did. Wow, a one-button combo. Whoops. What? Actually can't use X. Oh, I lost my ID. I was really hoping that this would be like a mechanic, because it was sounding like in the cutscene it was like don't use it unless you absolutely have to, so I thought it would just be like a cutscene thing, but we're actually getting to use it in battle. Ramsus's absolute confidence was shattered, leaving only his cry of disbelief and resentment. Ramsus's machine disappeared into a sea of foliage. Why he was so fixated on me, I know not why, but he did say this: "If only you didn't exist." So that was weird. Very similar to that earlier scene where it just like summarized it instead of having dialogue. The cracks are starting to form in terms of the rushed nature of the second disc already. In order to disperse the nanomachines, Emeralda and I headed for one of the ruins of the Zeboam civilization, the mass driver facility. Fortunately, the facility was still active, which allowed us to proceed on to the central control room with little difficulty. So apparently this has turned into a book now. Along the way, we saw various missiles and giant rockets that were created during the Zeboam era. They stood like tombstones of that ancient civilization. It was a graveyard for a race of people who destroyed each other over pride and arrogance. Yeah, this is bizarre. Like, most games that, like, so let's say, like, the script writers write a story that's like 100 pages long, right? And then development starts and they get a budget and they get a deadline and they start working on the game and they start coming up with timelines and they figure out like, okay, we have this much time. It takes us this long to make this much of the script into reality. And they find out like, okay, we're not going to have enough time. What would normally happen would be they would either cut the story and like plan a sequel or something, or they would change the story to be shorter, figure out a way to get from point A to point B quicker, right? With this, it's giving me vibes of like the main script writers in well, I guess it doesn't really matter who it was, but it feels like they didn't want to let go of the story. You know what I mean? It feels like they wrote the story and they were like, we're not going to give it up. Like, I'm unwilling to meet in the middle. I'm unwilling to change the story. The story has to be told in its entirety no matter what. And because of that, we get this. Regardless of whether or not that's the actual answer, it feels that way. Like, that's the vibe you get when reading this. It's like, oh, someone didn't want to let go. Which would presumably be Takahashi, but I don't want to make assumptions. But, you know, presumably it was like he spent so much time and effort on this story that he didn't want to let it go. And so we get this instead. Which, like, I'm curious if, like, Xenogears fans, if you could go back in time, if you could go back in time, would you? Right, yeah. So, I mean, yeah. Regardless of what actually happened, though, I think what's more important is what we feel as the player. And we definitely get that vibe. Like, regardless of what actually happened behind the scenes, you can feel it through the text. Like, you know, like Final Fantasy VII, for example, was rushed. But when you play Final Fantasy VII, you don't feel like it was rushed. It's only after the fact when you see how glitchy the PC port is, or you see like some of the funny typos, or like, you know, you learn more about what's going on under the hood, then you start to realize how rushed it was. But on a first playthrough of Final Fantasy VII, it does not feel rushed. And that's the important thing. It's not important that if it was rushed or if it wasn't rushed. What's important is the final product. And I can look at this and be like, yeah, this feels rushed. Like you would play this and truly feel like, you know, something's wrong. Like something happened, right? Which isn't good. It reminds me of like watching a movie, and you can almost feel in the movie if the people that made it were passionate or not, you know? If a movie producer can give you the feeling that they were passionate about a product, whether or not they were passionate or not, they did their job, right? And here it's like, if we could have found a way to cover this up so it didn't feel so rushed, i.e. make it shorter, cut out some of the story, and kind of just end it at the end of disc 1, that probably would have gone over better than this, because this is going to give everyone the feeling of like, oh, something went wrong, you know? But this is why I bring this up, because I'm really curious to hear all of the Xenogears fans that are watching this. If you could go back in time, would you change what they did? You know, would you say, make it shorter, like cut some of the story and make it end where disc 1 ended, but still tell the whole story and make a better video game? Or are you glad that he shoved the whole story in it so that you could at least see the vision? Because I can see arguments for both. If the game was shortened, it may have been more successful, and it may have led to a Xenogears 2. Now, what we know about the team and stuff, probably not. But in general, like, if you have a project like this, it may be better to shorten it and get that successful release so that you can tell the rest of the story later. Here, it's a different story, because here he wasn't going to get to tell the whole story no matter what, pretty much. But, you know, are you happy that it went this way? Are you happy that you at least got to see what the vision was, you know? Or would you have rathered a better video game, you know? It's just kind of an interesting question. I would imagine that most Xenogears fans appreciate being able to see the vision. I would think. My guess would be that. But curious to hear from people. In this case, it was better that it went this way, because it sounds like no matter what, he wouldn't have gotten a sequel, you know? But yeah, it's just an interesting topic, you know? Like, if I could go, let's say, like, Final Fantasy VII's third disc, or I guess the third disc is nothing, but like, if Final Fantasy VII's second disc, all the huge materia stuff was all cut, and we just kind of, like, went straight from the live stream scene to, like, North Crater. Would I have rathered the game release like that, or would I have rathered some, like, big summary thing that, you know, would have made the game review a lot worse? People would have been upset with it, and therefore maybe 7 wouldn't have had the big legacy that it has. Maybe it wouldn't have gotten spin-offs and movies and turned into remake and all that, but it would have been a better game. Or would I have rathered them just make a good game, get the reviews, get the spin-offs, get everything, you know, and get the legacy that it got? Like, that's a harder question to answer, because, you know, where would I be if 7 were just one game and didn't go anywhere else, right? So that's a harder question to answer. For here, it's a bit of an easier question, because it feels like it was either this or nothing. But yeah, it's just an interesting thought experiment, because it's such, like, you look at this, and I've only started. I don't know if this is like what the whole disc is like, but you look at this and it's hard not to feel sad. It's hard not to look at this and be like, oh, what happened? You know, like, and you see like these pictures, and you can feel yourself playing it. You know, like the way they did this, they show a screen in the background, and it's like, I could be playing that. You know, like it looks like they had it all figured out and ready. They just had to program, you know? So like, it's sad. It's sad looking at this and being like, they wanted us to play that and we can't. You know what? You know what's like really interesting too? It adds another layer to that question of, would you want a port, remaster, or remake? What about a remix where we just get the game but they finish this part? You know? Make this gameplay part, all these pictures we're seeing, create that gameplay part instead of this. And that's all it is just finishing the game, basically. I think that's what I would want. I think that if I could pick, I would want a port like they're doing on PS5 right now, the PS1 ports. I would want a PS5 port of this game, but they finish it. And then everything else is the same, and it gets like trophy support and stuff. Could you imagine? How wild would that be? Yeah, 1.5 remix. Basically, I mean, like, legitimately, what Kingdom Hearts did with, like, 1.5, 2.5 is basically, like, what we would want. Xenogears 1.5, basically.